Are you awake yet?
What up, familia? It's your boy Nate, back at it again. This is my show Reason with Me. Welcome. Last night I was driving through the city and I had to pick my girlfriend up at the airport, and her flight was delayed. It was really late at night. It was like 1 o'clock at night, and I'm just driving through the city, and not the best part of town. There's a lot of rough dudes out and about. It kind of got me thinking about predators, about the lion. Why did God make the lion the lion? Why did God make the rabbit the rabbit? So on and so forth. And then I was reminded of a Nietzsche quote, one of my favorite Nietzsche quotes. And Nietzsche posed the question: is it better to outmonster the monster or to be quietly devoured? And that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I've asked a lot of people that question. I've asked some of my more liberal coworkers that question. I've asked conservatives that question. I've asked people who are completely free from the left and right paradigm that question. I've asked black people that question. I've asked white people that question. I've asked women that question. Men, children, you name it. And they all had the same answer. Well, it's better to outmonster the monster, dummy. Of course, right? Who wants to be quietly devoured? But then I ask them, well, to what extent do you believe that? Because there's monsters all around us. Yet, here you are, still living your life as a peaceful creature. You're not a monster. You haven't become a monster. Are you just blind to the monsters around you? Or are you really incapable of becoming a monster at all? And then that got me thinking a little bit about all the freedoms I've lost since I was a child. When I was a child, where I lived, you could light fireworks on the 4th of July, but they made that illegal. The first time I got to light real fireworks with my kids was this year, when we moved to a conservative state out of that liberal shithole, Colorado. And there was just so many freedoms that I lost there as a child. I remember when I was a child. I remember when I was a child, if your dog had puppies, you could take some of them to Walmart and sell them right in front of the store. You could have a lemonade stand on the corner. You could pull up to a red light, and you could look that way, and you could look that way. And if nobody was coming, you could just go. And you didn't have to worry about a camera watching you. Instructing people in an office to write you a ticket and waiting for that in the mail. And some of you might be thinking, well, that's breaking the law. And it's like, Well, at what point do we have to follow stupid laws? Because if it's 1 o'clock at night, like it was last night when I was driving, and I'm sitting at a red light, which is red for no reason. It turns red right when I get to it. The two lights on either side of me turn green, and there are no cars there. And no cars come the whole time the light is red. I don't know, it was red for probably 20 seconds or so, 30. But I'm just sitting there thinking, how stupid is this? And I look up at the camera. I tell it, read between the lines. Read between the lines. Right? You know what that means. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, 15 years ago, I could just go. I could have just went. But not now. And these are just a few, of the many freedoms that I lost from the time I was a child. And it got me thinking like, well, man, my kids are never even going to know most of those freedoms. They're probably just going to think that's the way it always has been, right? Because that's what happens. When people lose freedom, we lose freedom, but the next generation never gets to even experience it. So they just think, well, this is the way the world's always been. But it's not. And then I started wondering, I wonder how many freedoms my parents lost. And my grandparents. And they never really said a peep about it. They were never the kind of people to even look at the world in that light and realize how much they've lost and how much they've gained. One thing's for sure, they haven't gained a single ounce of freedom. They lost a lot of our freedom that as Americans we should have inherited. We should have inherited the freedom from the 1700s. If our parents and our grandparents would have kept it alive, and if they would have fought back a little harder to make sure that we could inherit the freedom that they inherited when they were children. But they gave it up piece by piece. And here we are, giving it up piece by piece. Until eventually our grandkids, our great-grandkids, they're not going to inherit any freedom at all. They're going to inherit chains. Maybe the Nazis running the government right now. Maybe that's what they'll give to your kids and your grandkids when you die. Here's your grandfather's chains. Put them on. Could you imagine? Because I can imagine. Because I see it. I see it every day. A lot of it is due to power-hungry, corrupt individuals finding new ways to use technology to control us. And it's not stopping, it's only getting worse. If you look at the video I did yesterday, now the surveillance cameras on the street lights have have speed guns on them. So now you get a ticket for speeding and for running a red light from those things. Who knows what else? They're putting breathalyzers in the cars. They're requiring car manufacturers from now on to install breathalyzers in the cars so you can never start the car if you have alcohol on your breath. And look, we all know the blood alcohol limit is bullshit, right? Because most people, the majority of people, aren't even tipsy when they already passed that limit, right? We're not talking about drunk drivers here. We're talking about people who are barely on the verge of tipsy, who are getting DUIs from the uh, because of the low blood alcohol limit that they've forced upon us. And now that's going to be in your car. So it's not like people are going to be drunk. It's not like just drunks are going to go to their car and it won't start. It's going to be anybody who's even had a couple drinks. And it's just happening more and more, right? And, I thought of that Nietzsche quote, and then I really thought of this Albert Camus quote. He said, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your entire existence is an act of rebellion." Is that what we're being forced into? I think so. I think we're at a crossroads right now where we need to decide, are we going to be quietly devoured by the monster? Or are we going to out-monster the monster? The funny thing about most people in this country, the overwhelming majority of people in this country, is they have no idea what it's like to have their freedom taken away. A lot of people do, but the majority don't. They've never had to spend time in jail or prison. They've never been kidnapped. They've never been even in the military, where they fight for our freedom, but they don't have a lot of freedom themselves. They don't get to just do whatever they want, wake up whenever they want. They don't get to eat whatever they want. So they understand why freedom is precious. And so do people who have been to jail and prison. I can remember times in my life where all I wanted to do was the simple little things like pet a dog or catch the scent of a woman or watch what I wanted to watch on TV or eat what I wanted to eat. Hell, sometimes I just wanted to take a shit in private. And coming from where I'm coming from and living with the experiences that I've experienced, I'm not willing to give away even one freedom. If any of these monsters try to make a 3-course meal out of my freedom, I'm going to fight back. They can't have even one of my freedoms. And I think you need to start thinking that way too. Not one. You understand? Because that's what it is. They take one. And they do it for various reasons. Most of them are for good, right? Well, if your family dog has puppies, you can't go sell them anymore because, there's bad people out there who just want to breed puppies and sell them. You can't have a lemonade stand. You can't sell baked goods because you could poison somebody. And what? You can't go in society without your vaccine because you might kill grandma. Now they've gotten so desperate, so pathetic, you might kill the kids. The kids that don't even die from the virus, you might kill them. Come on, man. Not one freedom, guys. Not one freedom. Do not compromise at all. Our parents did. Our grandparents did. Even we did a little bit. And it's time for that shit to end. It's time to start getting that freedom back from these monsters. Anyways, I wanted to make this one short and sweet. As short as possible anyways, so I could get my point across. So I just want to say thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out the merch store. I have a shirt in my merch store. It's a Nietzsche shirt. And it's the quote from this video. If that's something you'd like to wear, if that's something you would like to represent, please, I encourage you to go get one. I made shirts that, as a warrior and as a free man, I wanted to wear. So, if that's something you want to wear, please go get one. If it's not, obviously, there's other shirts there for you. But that one's one of my favorites. So, anyways, thanks again. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I want to know your opinion. I'm asking you right now. Is it better to outmonster the monster or to be quietly devoured? Adios, amigos.